So first you need 2 strips of paper. These are about 3mm wide, and the length is the length of an A4 paper. And you can choose whatever colors you like. And let's start. So first I fold one piece into half to make the head. So I grab my quilling tool, which is missing right now. There it is. So I'm using it's like a standard quilling tool by Quilled Creations, but you can pretty much use anything like that looks like this, like a pin, or say you can even use a safety pin to do this. So I'm just gonna use my quilling tool, and I take the edge that's folded, hold it against the quilling tool, then bend it around the pin, and I start rolling. You can see that. Oops. And then after a few rolls, I'm comfortable with using my fingers to roll the whole thing, or you can choose to use tweezers to hold it, and then you can roll and hold, repeat till you reach the end. So if you can see, the end, the one is longer than the other because you're rolling a folded strip into a circle, but that's okay. So what I do next is to put it into this. You're free to work whichever way you wish, as long as you can maintain the size of coil that you want. I use these two to let it uncoil to a size that I want. So I'm using this one, so I just let it sit there for a bit, and I work on my second piece, fold it into half, cut, fold again, cut, and I keep 2 pieces, and I fold the remaining 2 in half and cut again. So these are basically all the strips that I would need to complete the piece. So now I grab this one and I loosen it up a bit, and then this is purely based on estimation, so once you do it a few times you'll get the hang of it. So I pull the center of the coil towards one side and I press together the edges so that you get like a teardrop shape, but I push it slightly towards the left so that I achieve the one-sided trunk look that I'm trying to achieve with the Ganesh. So I cut the excess off. Too close to the camera. Right. So I have this, and I glue the open edges. Just a bit of glue there, and I hold it together. See, looks like this. And then I grab my tweezer. You can do this with your fingers if you like. Do it with a tweezer because it's faster. I hold the edge and I just roll it. Hold it tight for a while, let it set. And I take it out, I get a little curled trunk look that I want. So now I think you can see the head forming. So I adjust it here a bit with my tweezer so I get that sideways curl look. And I think this is done. So I set that down and we go to the next piece, which is the two long ones that you have, and you have the other 4 short ones. So I take one of the longer ones and I roll it again, like I showed you earlier. I let it go a bit, and this is again based on estimation. I know how big I want, or I can use this to set it again. And again I'm creating a teardrop shaped, so since this is a smaller piece, I'm gonna stick my pin inside, pull it sideways and push the edge together. So I get a tiny teardrop shape, and I'm gonna curl the edge sideways a bit using my nail, or you can use a tweezer, and I glue the edge. Hold it again with the tweezer, and you have one ear. So I'm gonna directly stick that in, put glue there, and Ganesh gets his left ear, or right. Alright. So we're gonna repeat the same thing for the other ear. See, I usually use my nail to make a bit of a curve at the end so that it's easier to close the coil. A bit of glue there. I keep moving my hands too close to the camera, and you just saw my hair. Okay. This is not supposed to be a tight curl, so I'm gonna just open it again. This is what happens when I talk instead of concentrating. And just let it loosen a bit, and then stick my pin in again, pull and push, and you get the teardrop shape again, and then I curl it sideways to make the edge of the ear. So now you have the other ear, and we're gonna glue that in. Okay, so now you have Ganesh's head and 2 ears. Now we're gonna work on his headgear using these 4 pieces. We're gonna make 3 tight coils on top, and then add a teardrop shape topmost. So again, make a coil, but this time a tight one. So I make sure I hold it right so that it doesn't uncoil at all. Put some glue in and roll it till the end, and I hold it for a while with my tweezer so that it sets. So you can see it's a tight coil. There's a small hole in the middle, but you don't see any pattern like this one. So that should be done. So I'm just gonna glue it right in. Stick it in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing with the other two pieces. Roll, roll, roll. Glue. And close it. It's not quite set yet. I'm gonna hold it just a bit longer. That should do it. Okay. We're gonna glue that in as well. Alright, 2 done. 1 more to go. Stick it in and roll. And I close the end. Oops. And hold it for a bit and let it sit. I do this to get like excess glue off my hand because it might end up sticking onto the piece and you'll have like white stringy things that are a pain to get off on your piece and wouldn't look very nice. So this is done. We're gonna glue it down. I'm gonna grab my other tweezer so that it's easier to work. Okay. We've got 3 in, almost there. And the last piece, which is a teardrop shaped piece. Again, pretty much a tight coil, but we're gonna loosen it in the end. So this is a tight coil. We just loosen it a bit. Then I just stick my tweezer in to pull it down and make that teardrop shape again. Press it tight. And glue. These pieces may seem a bit too small than the things that you usually handle, but once you get the hang of this, it's a piece of cake, I suppose. So I'm gonna stick that piece in. I'm gonna use my other tweezer so that I don't get glue onto the other pieces. I'm gonna adjust it a bit. And there, that's done. So before we let it to dry, I'm gonna stick the stones in. I got the stones like at a craft shop, and they came in mixed with white and kind of brownish, goldish stone, which I had to separate. So I'm gonna pick this up. Put some, oh, there it goes. Put some glue on it. This is getting hard to do. Okay. A much better way to do this would probably be to pour the glue out on a flat surface, and then you take the stone and dip into that glue. It's probably easier to do. I mean, it is easier to do, but I don't have my glue tray here with me. So we're done with two more to go. Bit of glue, some unwanted stuff there. I'm just, okay. This is a bit of a challenge to do because I'm actually standing up and working so that I can shoot this video. Come on, be nice. There you go. Okay, one last one to go. Bit of glue. Stick that in right there. Alright, so this is complete. I'll let you have a closer look. It's kind of bright. Okay, you should be able to see better now. So that's how it looks like, and we're gonna wait for it to dry before we set it into the pendant.